Hi guys, welcome back to the Flix Files. My name's Roger. So this is going to be my very first movie news video. So the idea of this is that every week, every Tuesday, I'm going to do a quick video and I'll quickly go over the news stories that have happened in the past week that I found interesting. So this won't be an exhaustive list of everything that's been going on in the movie world. It's just the stories that I saw that made me think, oh, I look forward to that, or it just piqued my interest. So I'm going to go over them with you now. And I'll do this every week, every Tuesday. And hopefully you'll get into watching them and you'll like them. But if I don't get any views or no thumbs up on these videos, then I'll stop doing them. And I'll have to think of something else to do. So, the other thing, what I'll do for each story, I'm going to put the overview across the bottom of the screen. And the idea is, if you don't fancy sitting through this, I'll make it as quickly as I can, but you can zip through the video to look at the news stories across the bottom of the screen and stop it on the one that you're interested in. So hopefully that will help you out as well. So the very first news story that I want to talk about is to do with Christopher Nolan's new movie. They finally announced what his new movie is going to be. And anybody who watched my previous video to this one, which was the Blue Thunder review, will have seen in there that I was getting very excited towards the end of that video because there was a rumor that Christopher Nolan was going to remake Blue Thunder as his new movie. And when I read that, I thought, oh God, I hope that's true. That would be amazing. But alas, it turns out that's not the case. And his new movie is going to be a telling of Homer's Odyssey, which is the story of Odysseus's journey from Troy to Ithaca. Now, this isn't a story that I know. It's been made into a movie a number of times, but I haven't seen any of those versions. So I'll be intrigued to see what Christopher Nolan does with this. He's not really done a historical epic before, and they have said that this will be the biggest budget that he's ever had to play with, because apparently he made Oppenheimer quite cheaply, and I think the biggest budget he's had to date has been Tenet, so this will be his most expensive one, his new movie. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see what he'll do with it. As always, I love Christopher Nolan. I have all of his movies on physical media bar one, so I'm going to look forward to it. It's assembling a hell of a cast. I think Matt Damon is going to be in the lead, and he has other names like Robert Pattinson and Anne Hathaway involved. So he seems to be gathering together actors that he's worked with previously, which is nice. So yeah, it's a shame he's not doing Blue Thunder. I always wish that he will remake The Black Hole. I read many years ago where he talked about his favourite movies. And he's a big Bond fan as well, Christopher Nolan. And it's always been a wish of mine that either he directs a Bond movie, which from the sound of it will never happen because Amazon now have the rights to James Bond. And apparently they're locking horns with Barbara Broccoli, the creative mind of Bond, with what they want to do with the franchise, and she's disagreeing with them. So it's putting the Bond movies into a stalemate position at the moment. But I've often wished Christopher Nolan would do a Bond movie. And he said that one of his other favourite movies is The Black Hole, which I've already done a video about, if you look back on my channel, and I love that movie. And I think it's ready to be remade, that film is. I think it could be a very good science fiction movie if they did it right and fixed the ending of the original, which was a little bit odd, should we say. But that's the first news story. Christopher Nolan's new movie has been announced. So my second news story is to do with the American filmmaker Robert Eggers. Now, Robert Eggers has only made a small handful of films so far, but they're all very unique and quite stylistic. And I guess they're quite Marmite. By that I mean you will either like them or you won't. There's no kind of middle ground with Robert Eggers. But he's done films like his first movie was The Witch with Anya Taylor-Joy, and he did The Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. He did the Viking movie The Northman, and now he's done a remake of the old German vampire classic Nosferatu, which is currently in cinemas, which anybody that watches my channel will know that I won't be going to the cinema to see it. I'm just giving up on cinemas now. I'll have to watch it when it hits streaming and then decide whether or not I buy a physical copy, which I probably will, because I have all of his other movies, and I love Dracula movies. So I'm already intrigued to see this. But the news story that I read was that when Nosferatu is getting a physical release, it will be an extended cut. So I'm always excited with director's cuts if I love the movie, because I always think, well, I really like that movie, so obviously I want to see more of it. So it'll be interesting to watch the theatrical version when it's available on streaming. And then if I watch it and really love it, which I hope I will, then it'll be nice to know that when it comes out on 4K, it'll be an extended version. So I'm really looking forward to that. And the other bit of news about Robert Eggers is I read in an interview that he has a number of irons in the fire as regards what his next movie will be. And one of those movies that he may remake, so much like Christopher Nolan and Blue Thunder, he's thinking of remaking a classic movie. And when I read this, I thought, oh yes, I can see that. And I can see that he's the filmmaker to do it. And the movie is Labyrinth, the Jim Henson classic from the mid-80s. Jennifer Connelly, the gorgeous Jennifer Connelly. Yeah, he's thinking of remaking Labyrinth. And again, when I read that, I thought, oh God, yes, make that happen. That'd be amazing. Especially if he does it in association with the Jim Henson Company, as regards doing all the creatures as well. So I'm very excited for that, and I hope it happens. Blade Runner 2099. Now, Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner, is my second favourite movie of all time after Alien. I love Blade Runner. And I loved Blade Runner 2049 when that came out, the Denis Villeneuve movie. I was very nervous just before that came out, because I thought, well, Blade Runner is, that's some big shoes to fill. And could they pull it off? And they did. They really made a great movie with Blade Runner 2049. And apparently they're making a mini TV series called Blade Runner 2099, and it has Michelle Yeoh in it. And the only thing I know about this series is that Michelle Yeoh plays a replicant who's reaching her end date. So she's about to expire, as replicants do. They have a built-in expiry date. And that's all I know about it. They're keeping it very secretive. As far as I know, they've not released any shots or stills of the production. But all I know is I've read a story this week that they finished filming, they wrapped on the filming. So we're getting nearer towards seeing that on streaming. So that's something that will be on my radar that I'm really looking forward to seeing, just to see what they do with it. Much like the Alien Earth TV series that I've heard they're making as well. I'm intrigued because it's aliens, it's the alien universe. So I want to watch it, give it a go. So 2 TV series there that are on my radar that I will probably talk about again in another movie news video if more information crops up. What else have I got? Matt Reeves. Now, Matt Reeves is a filmmaker that I've always liked. He did Cloverfield. That was his very first movie, which I have behind me. And he also did 2 of the Planet of the Apes movies. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War of the Planet of the Apes, which I have behind me. Loved them. I thought they were fantastic movies. And then he did the new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, which I have behind me. And I really loved that movie. I thought it was a really interesting retelling of the Batman lore, and it made Batman more of a detective, which is what he is. It was more true to life to the comics, I thought. And there's a rumor going around now that the sequel, which is in early pre-production, is going to have Mr. Freeze as the main bad guy. So I thought, oh, okay, that's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Matt Reeves' version of Mr. Freeze will be like. I should imagine it obviously be more rooted in reality than having another Arnold Schwarzenegger painted blue running around. What else have I got? Mel Gibson's new movie that he's directed. I've always liked Mel Gibson, and I've always thought he was a terrific director. And I think I have 3 of his films that he directed: Braveheart on 4K, Passion of the Christ, and Hacksaw Ridge on Blu-ray. All terrific movies, superbly directed. And he's done a new action thriller called Flight Risk with Mark Wahlberg. And it's been in the news this week that the second trailer for that movie has been released. And I watched the trailer, and it seems to be that most of the action takes place in a small plane, of which Mark Wahlberg is the pilot. So it's kind of in a confined space, but it looks terrific. It looks like a mini version of, what movie did it remind me of? I can't remember now off the top of my head. But I encourage you to watch the trailer for it and see what you think, and maybe comment below and tell me if it's a movie that you're interested in seeing. I don't think it's released until October, so we've got a long wait before we see it. But as I say, it's directed by Mel Gibson, so immediately it gets a go in my book, because as a director, he can really do no wrong. And my final story for this week, so I told you these would be quick videos, is to do with the Kevin Costner Western Horizon Chapter 1. Now, I broke one of my rules with this movie, because I always said I would never buy a movie on physical media unless I'd already seen it. But I bought Horizon Chapter 1 on 4K, and I had to buy it from Spain because it's not been made available in this country, and the American release was too expensive. But I saw that they'd released it in Spain on 4K, and I bought the 4K version of it from Spain, and it has the English soundtrack. And luckily, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a terrific Western. I seem to be getting into Westerns as I get older. I don't know what it is. My dad always liked Westerns, and he'd watched them when I was a kid. But when I was a kid, I was never interested in watching a Western with him. And I often wish he was still alive now, because we could sit and watch Westerns together. But yeah, I'm really getting into my Westerns. And Horizon Chapter 1 I thought was fantastic. And I know that Kevin Costner, I think he wants to make 3 of them. And I think he's finished filming Chapter 2. But he was waiting for a distributor. But because the first one flopped at the box office, it was up in the air what was going to happen. But apparently Netflix has bought the rights to screen Chapter 1, so you can now watch it on Netflix if you haven't seen it. And I encourage you to watch it if you've not seen it. But I thought it was terrific, and it ended in a way that really made me want to watch the second one. So I really hope it works out for Kevin Costner and he gets this trilogy made, because I think it's going to be a cracker. I think there's certain plot elements that happen in the first one that are left unresolved that will make interesting things in part 2. So yeah, I really hope that happens. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is my very first movie news video. So as I say, I've only picked out stories that were of interest to me in the past week. And so next Tuesday, I will do another one to talk about all the things that have happened this week, the week that I filmed this. So we'll see how we get on with those, and hopefully you'll get into watching them. And if I upload them and after like 5 or 6 of them they don't get any views, then I'll just have to stop doing them. But as always, I will do my deep dives on Friday, so look out for the one that will be hitting this week, and I hope you watch that and enjoy it. So if you liked any of those, as always, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you've actually got to this point, then give yourself a pat on the back and then hit the subscribe button, because hopefully you'll be back next week to watch the next one. So I'll see you then, ladies and gentlemen. So thanks for watching. Bye for now.